Today I am taking a leaf out of my life and sharing with you, hoping you would benefit from my experience. This is not so much about me as it is about the person I am going to talk about. He taught me the essence of life and how to face difficulties in life. This relates to that phase of my life when things were not going right for me. I was on the wrong side of 40s and literally found myself in a black hole. I was struggling when most of my friends had comfortably settled. Life had become both aimless and difficult at the same time. I was between the rock and a hard place. I was clutching at straws to keep myself afloat. He came in my life as a breath of fresh air. He looked very ordinary, but I felt there was something about him that made him look different from the crowd. I don't even remember when I first met him or when our friendship started. When we had group discussions, he always had a very different take from the rest of us. He very frequently said, "Let us agree to disagree," and gently guided us to accept his viewpoint. Initially I found him a little irritating, but there was something about him I could not fathom. He had the courage of his convictions. In the meanwhile, my problems multiplied many-fold, and I seemed to have lost the way. He must have sensed what I was going through and started guiding me in a very subtle way. There was no preaching and no lectures. They were mostly one-liners or just a few sentences. He was a very good listener. Once, after complaining about the whole world, I asked him what he would do in my position. He smiled and asked me to look within. I spent the whole night trying to look within and found nothing. Next day I told him, I tried to look within and found nothing. He got up and stretched his hands. He replied, "Your whole world lives within you. Maybe you are so busy that you have not made a contact with your real self. All your answers lie within yourself." The conversation did not make much sense to me then. When I was alone, I started my journey to find what lies within me. I knew there was something missing. I was too busy reacting to the outside world. There was no peace within. I told him if I tried to seek peace within, I would cut off myself from the real world. He said, "Without peace you don't seem to have made much headway in your personal life anyway." I told him if I tried to pursue peace I won't have time to solve problems of my already complicated personal life. He replied, "Give yourself a chance. Even a storm tearing away at 100 miles per hour is calm and peaceful at the center. Without peace of mind, you will not solve your problems. In a dispute, always give other person a chance to explain himself. He may just be right." I told him if I did that I would lose everything. He replied, "What is yours will always come to you no matter what." I was skeptical, but I decided to make some changes in my personal life. Life did not change overnight. But what had changed was that I looked at life little differently. Gone was my gung-ho attitude. I was prepared to concede other person's viewpoint. In fact, I avoided getting into an argument. This brought some peace to my mind, and I was enjoying this new phase in my life. I met him after some time and he asked me how I was doing. I told him my life had changed tremendously after I took his advice. He remarked, "Your life hasn't changed. You have changed." I noticed that whenever he spoke with a lot of moral authority. This is not possible if you do not apply very high standards in your personal life. He was a great believer in personal responsibility. Everything happens because you initiated the process. Nothing good or bad happens without a reason. He explained that the moment you own your mistakes, you break the chain of making further mistakes. All you need to do is accept you made a mistake. After that, things sort out on their own. He believed your prayers always get answer, yes, no or maybe. I asked him if he was a religious person. He said he didn't know, perhaps more spiritual than religious. He didn't like labels. Our friendship was not based on daily meetings. We could meet every day and sometimes after a few weeks. I had accepted him as my friend, philosopher and guide. His friendship meant a lot to me. He was a pillar I could lean on. I felt my life was changing very slowly for the better, and he had contributed vastly for the change. I had so many conversations with him that I would need days to distill the wisdom and pass it on to you in form of short videos. The most important change was that once again I believed in myself and my future. And then the inevitable happened. We had not met for a week or two, and I felt a cup of tea together and a few words of wisdom from him would be just fine. He was nowhere to be found. I thought he might have gone on holidays or business somewhere. A few weeks more and he had still not returned. I found out from his office that he had resigned and left. He disappeared from my life exactly the same way he had appeared, unannounced. I don't know where he is now, but I am sure he must be busy changing someone's life. I do not know what title I can give him, but in my life he was surely the game changer.